All right, let's go ahead and call all F and A together. Uh, Please note, attendance of council members, Councilman Kara Christian is not currently present. Any objections to excusing her absence tonight? All right, we'll take her absence, up until she joins us as excused. We're expecting her momentarily. All right, with that, let's go ahead and proceed with the rest of the agenda. First action will be to approve the agenda. Are there any questions or alterations in regards to the agenda? Chair has none. You're good?
Yep.
All right, we'll proceed with the agenda as presented. With that, we'll move into public comments. Are there any individuals present in chambers wishing to make comment before the committee? For those that might or might not be online, email submission of online comments is accepted, but we do not do interactive online. All right, with that, we'll go to approval of minutes dated November 18th, 2025. Chair has no questions or alterations. You okay with the minutes?
All good.
You okay with accepting them as presented?
Yep.
All right, minutes for November 18th, 2025 are accepted as submitted in the agenda. With that, we'll move on to consideration of claims reports dated December 8th, 2025. For clarification, Chair has received no questions from other council members. Just checked my email real quick, so that is cleared. I personally have no clarification or alterations. Are you okay with the warrants as presented?
Yes.
You okay with accepting and moving them forward as presented?
Yep.
All right, we'll take the claims report dated December 8th, 2025 and move that on to council agenda. With that, let's move on to agenda bills. Agenda Bill 25089, resolution amending financial management policy.
Chair, Councilperson Christian has joined.
All right. So yes, if the note, if you'll so note, Councilman Christian is in attendance. Noted.
All right. So good evening to you, council, and thank you very much, Chair. As you stated, this agenda bill resolution would amend the financial management policy. As you recall, we have previously presented on this to the F&E committee. Subsequent to that, we have removed the severance and settlements portion of the contracting matrix threshold as requested, which leaves us just with all the material that I've worked on, I think overall in relation to this. Most of this is basically will help support a code cleanup in the future. So we want to make sure that a lot of the code cleanup that we hope to do in that future is covered somewhere. And we believe we should be covering that in the financial management policy. This proposed amended financial management policy would clarify and outline procedures for petty cash and would also harmonize the surplusing of assets with RCW 35.94.040. In addition, the proposed amended policy updates purchasing thresholds for both the Public Works project staff labor and the Public Works contract procurement categories to match the change to RCW 35.23.352, which took effect on June 30th, 2024. And finally, the proposed amendment policy consolidates the city's funds into one authorizing location, which will help the city with our future code cleanup. Certainly a number of funds are currently embedded within our code right now, and we believe having all those kind of residing in one location would be beneficial to the city overall. So with that said, this is kind of the first step, kind of a two-step process overall, in which if council chooses to adopt this financial management policy, we would come back later with a code cleanup to help kind of reduce some of the complexities associated with that. Thank you.
Any questions or in regards to the new management policy?
I just was wondering if you could go over that one more time about the funds and consolidating and stuff. Could you just remind me?
So there's a number of funds. So generally what happens is we have to have council authorize the funds that we use. Often those authorization funds have happened over 100-year period at the city overall, in which there's ancient resolutions and ordinances tied to that. But also as a part of those ancient ordinances, often that has created additional sections as a part of the municipal code. The goal is to eventually take out those sections related to the municipal code tied to the establishment of those funds and consolidate that into one document here, so that when council is authorizing the city's ability to establish a fund, we've got one place to go to kind of make that happen. That would be the financial management policy. And if we're looking at removing funds, which we have in the past done as well, we don't necessarily have to go and create an ordinance to, update the municipal code or remove that fund. That could all kind of take place in one document in one location.
Okay, then what it sounds like is this doesn't itself, this action doesn't itself remove any funds. It moves the funds to a different place.
Yes, it's
And
trying
then in
to,
the future, we could consolidate funds, we could make new funds, but it would happen in one place instead of sprinkled throughout the code.
right. I'm not trying to open up any new
Got it.
funds or remove any funds.
Okay, got it.
Here. This is to describe the structure as we currently have it right now at the city. And, as a part of the budget process overall, we don't often talk about the other funds that we have that kind of act as vehicles for the city in terms of moving funds around to be able to pay for warrants, for example, that you see a part of the claims approval report, or for example, for payroll, which is all paid out of one fund. So often we're transferring funds from the funds that we budget into the payroll clearing fund and then dispersing the funds through those kind of vessels, I guess I would say.
You good?
I think so.
All right,
I'm sorry, Chair.
go ahead.
On the resolution, I apologize. There's one whereas this was originally brought to the committee with the adding the severance agreement. And there's one whereas clause in the resolution, the fifth one that somehow I apologize. It's the ghost machine that remains. And so I'd recommend that that one be removed for when it goes to council. It's the whereas, and it's referencing the swift, efficient, strategic resolution of small claims. And then there's also in the agenda bill, I noticed there's still a reference to the cost of COBRA, which would no longer be applicable. I don't know how those still remained there, so those would both need to be removed. I would recommend those be removed for when it goes to council.
Okay, so basically the one statement is, whereas the city council deems necessary to amend the financial management policy to enable swift and efficient and strategic resolution of small lawsuits, claims, and separation agreements of severance agreements. And you would say take that whereas clause out.
Yes, that would be, I would recommend that one be stricken. And then,
Oh, wait. So moved. Any objections?
I did see a hand up from Kara though.
Hmm?
I did see a hand up from Kara a minute ago.
Okay. Kara?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll second the motion, but I had something else at a different moment.
Okay.
Effort on that. Thanks.
Hang on your number 2 in the flight line.
Sorry.
All right, so let's take that whereas out. I think we have a motion concurrence to do that. You have another alterations?
I don't know how, I'm sorry, it remained in. The cost of COBRA is still in fiscal impact, and that's no longer relevant because that part of the policy's been removed.
Okay, so motion to move the 12 months of COBRA out of the fiscal impact statement and redo the total, which would be $30,000, quick math on my head.
Well, so none of that table is
Yeah.
going to apply. So that entire table is
Strike the
coming
table.
out.
All right,
Yes.
strike the table.
Yes.
Second,
Any objections?
or no objection,
right.
whichever one you need,
No objections. So go ahead and strike the financial impact table.
unless Kara had an objection.
I think Kara, you had another matter of question?
Yeah, I'm fine with what you just said.
Cool.
Okay. All right, we'll strike that table. Kara, you had one other item for discussion?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I noted that in the red line version under 7.4 bond rating, I think that there was just at the end of the sentence that the city will seek to maintain or continually improve its bond rating to seek the lowest possible interest rate available or maintain its AA bond rating. I just didn't know why the AA was in red. I didn't know if we were changing that, and I just wanted to get confirmation that that's remaining how it was before. Or if not, get a little bit of additional information.
Yeah, that was remaining how it was before. I think we had that in red previously. I think the intention of leaving that in red, with the previous finance director that is continuing to practice right now, is if we do happen to get a higher rating, we would change that potentially in the future to reflect that. But
Okay, thank you. And then just when we do the final, I think that there's some additional formatting that needs to be tweaked and updated and done, but otherwise I don't have any other concerns. So thank you.
All right, so if there are Scribner issues,
Right.
you guys can take care of that. All right. With discussion so far, removing those two sections, are we good to go move this forward to council? You okay? Kara, you okay?
Yeah, I'm agreeable to that. Thanks.
No, wait.
And that would not be consent, that would be full council. on
Yeah.
that. Okay, thank
That's a
you.
good idea.
All right. All right, with that, let's move on to Agenda Bill 25-114, Madrona Law Contract Amendment.
All right, that's me. So this is a resolution to approve a contract amendment with Madrona Law. So in May 1st, 11th of 2023, Snoqualmie entered into an agreement with Madrona Law for interim city attorney and legal services. The initial not to exceed amount was 50,000, and then that agreement was amended twice. In June 2023, the compensation cap was increased to approximately 295,000, and then in October of 2024, it was increased to 508,000. In 2025, the city of Snoqualmie encountered a series of high-profile emergent legal challenges that involved substantial legal support. These were urgent matters. And additionally, there was a staffing gap. The legal assistant deputy city clerk position was vacant from March to August 2025. Now with the recent hiring of the legal assistant deputy city clerk position being filled, and also with the deployment of contract tracking software that has the ability to, with engineering controls to prevent citywide overages on contracts, this issue will be prevented in the future. But essentially, this is to approve to go up to 590,000 for to do a third amendment to increase to 590,000. So that would cover legal expenses through 2025. Legal advice is essential for city operations to effectively and responsibly protect the city and residents. Full legal advice mitigates legal and financial risks, ensures policies, contracts, and actions comply with local and state law. It's also just critical for city assets and interests. The recommendation would be to approve this amendment. This would cover through 2025, and then in January 2026, we will come forward with any proposal for outside legal counsel at that time.
And thank you for going through the extra hoops on that. All right, I have no questions or comments. Are you okay, Councilmember Johnson?
I feel like I should ask, did we ever go over the appropriated spending for that one?
In terms of the contract, we did go over that October 2024 limit. I think whatever appropriation we went over would have been covered in the budget amendment that was passed last week.
So that one was already covered by the budget amendment.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Good question. All right. Kara, are you okay? Do you have any questions?
No, not at this time. Thanks.
Any objections moving this forward to council?
Nope.
All right, hearing none, we'll move that one forward to council. Get back to the agenda.
Not consent.
Is that consent or non-consent?
In essence, the change is $90,000. I'm okay with consent if Councilor Johnson, you okay with consent?
I can go either way.
Well, you weren't given options. C was A or B.
Meaning, let's see if Kara feels strongly.
Kara, opinion?
I could go either way as well.
All right, then default to, you recommend consent?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm good with that.
All right, let's go to consent on that one.
Thank you.
All right, let's do Agenda Bill 25-112, KNL Gates Budget Authorization.
All right, thank you. That's me again. So this is an agenda bill with a motion to approve an additional, I think it's $16,000. Sorry, there's a reason I went to law school and not math.
Not
school.
accounting.
For K&L Gates. So basically in 2023, the city retained K&L Gates to assist with tribal law issues. The first amount was 50,000. Then that was increased with additional 80,000 in June of 2024. Throughout 2025, we had a lot of emergent legal issues, as I just went over with the last one. So we have exceeded that last amendment of the 80,000 that was appropriated by approximately $16,000. With the recent, as I said before, with the recent filling of the deputy city clerk legal assistant position and the technology we're deploying to track contracts internally, these issues will be avoided in the future. I will mention that in 2025, we did reduce our overall spending on K&L Gates. So in 2024, we spent approximately 94,000. In 2025, we've spent approximately 27,000. So this is just for the additional $16,000 overage. That would get us through the end of 2025. And then in January 2026, we can determine if we would like to use K&L Gates going forward.
Does every attorney consider not to exceed to be a meaningless statement? I sorry. All right, $16,000 goes to bring this one to current. Chair has no issues or Councilor Johnson.
I have issues. I don't think that this would be the contract that I would want to pick a fight over, but this seems to be something that keeps happening, that we keep spending over what we said we were supposed to spend. And doesn't seem right to me somehow. So I'm not sure why that keeps happening, but we got to find a way to clean that up.
I agree, Councilmember Johnson. I think going forward with the software and staffing, we can avoid it in the future. One difference between the Madrona situation and K&L Gates was an engagement letter, whereas Madrona had a contract with a specific clause with a not to exceed amount. So
I was curious about that.
Yeah, so they were set up in two different ways.
How do we communicate them the extension of these funds?
I will be Robert and I have both been in communication with both firms.
Well, if it's a letter or email, I would at least like a clause that says the next not to exceed escapement is on you. You can put the proper words on it. It's half of our responsibility to make sure it doesn't happen. We're getting systems in place to prevent that. But it's also in part on those we contract with to adhere to the terms and conditions of the contract. Okay, so I don't feel comfortable taking, particularly for $16,000, taking them out at the knees without warning. So I want to give that warning. It says next time, not to exceed means not to exceed. Okay.
Yes, we will do that, Chair.
All right. Does that scratch your itch a little bit? It does.
And I think Councilmember Christensen has her hand up.
All right, I'll defer. All right, Councilman Christian.
She's mute.
You got to get that.
Sorry about that.
There
I
you
know, right? It's the worst.
Yep, we can hear you.
My apologies. I was just saying that I'm kind of of a similar opinion there. And then just when this comes to council, can we include the two prior agreements that we've entered into with Madrona as well? Just so that we have those handy, because I think that the only one that was attached on this particular was the third amendment for the agreement. So if we can just have the other two included as well, unless there's a reason not to.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, we can add those.
Thanks.
Okay, Councilor Johnson, you and Jana.
I only want to mention that it would seem to me that technically speaking, this would also be on them if we wanted it to be. Not saying we should pick that fight. Just want to point out that if they didn't keep track themselves of, oh, hey, we've gone over how much we were supposed to, how much work we were supposed to do, that's also partly on them.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I pick on attorneys just because it's a fun vein of jokes. But this is not the only area we've had these kind of issues, and we do need to start putting our the entities that we contract with on notice that not to exceed means not to exceed. Okay.
All right.
All right.
And then-
$16,000. You guys okay with it going to consent?
Yes.
Because of that issue,
You had it on the last one too.
well, the last one has already been taken care of.
Oh, you asked a different question.
Yeah.
Were the funds allocated were appropriated? Yes, through the last budget amendment was, and I think that
Right.
Yes.
case exists for here too. Did we?
Wait, did we cover it in the budget amendment?
Yes.
Yes,
Then what's the purpose of this then?
to modify,
little
to
bit.
modify the engagement letter or contract for the additional funds. Just because we appropriated doesn't mean we contracted it yet.
Ah, okay. All right then, fine.
All right, let's put that one on consent. Get back up here. With that, we'll move on to discussion, totem pole discussion.
Hello, Nicole Wiebe, Community Liaison. I was asked to be here with this discussion, but I actually would like to know what you would like to know. I last presented this, I'd have to look at the date. I think it was a year and a half ago. We left that night and didn't go anywhere else with this topic. So just as a reminder, the tribe was here that night. They were very pleased with the presentation. They were very pleased with what we presented, but as I said, this topic has gone silent since then. So I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Well, other than on one-to-one conversations, tribal council members have still expressed irritation at the totem pole.
Correct. I mean, I don't have those personally with them, but that's my understanding as
Well,
well.
I've had those conversations and they've
right.
expressed irritation. So really the question was, can we just, at this stage, move the pole? You had your hand up.
Well, I thought that there had been some conversation, and maybe I'm misremembering, but with the the Snoqualmie Historical Museum, whatever the proper name is.
Snoqualmie Valley Historical Museum.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that perhaps they might be interested in it, because it is an historical piece of art that was created by someone in Snoqualmie Valley,
Can't give it to them.
but that could not be a donation to them.
We cannot do gift of public funds. That would be gift of public. Something the city owns. We
So
can't give it away.
what I thought that we could, that's okay. I'll defer over there.
Yeah, we can't donate it because that would be a gift of public funds because it has a value. So I know.
True. What I thought that we could do is if there was some other value that would be received by the city by having done something like that. So it's like a fair trade. So for example, if there was going to be some economic development that would bring in additional tax revenue to the city, that would then be neutral.
Are we trying to problem solve where to put the totem pole at this point? Or
Essentially.
the whole thing would be, let's remove it and then we can.
Yeah, at this stage, I'm happy to just move it.
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, Kara, you have your hand up? Thank you.
Yeah, I was just wondering, first of all, if we could just take it out for right now until we figure out what to do with it next. But then is another kind of question or option. Would we be able to rent it to the museum for a nominal amount?
So-
And then they could display it there if they wanted to for a period of time? Because then we're not giving it to them, but they are, storing it for us and preserving it. for history? Or does that run us afoul of the same rules?
No, so that, we're breaking the fourth wall.
Well, the only thing I'm concerned about that stage, there's an assumption of display, and at that stage, we may be making our irritation somebody else's irritation, and I'm not sure about that. Go ahead.
So that could be a potential workaround, the kind of the artwork on loan, like if you go to a museum and you see the plaque next to a Picasso painting,
Right.
on loan from the,
Sure.
date. The, Ms. Weeby and I had a meeting, and I'm blanking on the name of the person from the museum.
It was Christy Lake.
Yeah, the museum is not interested in having artwork or pieces that are on loan for various reasons. So that was not a viable option on the museum side.
Fair enough.
We did not discuss at the time that we met with Christy Lake several weeks ago about the totem pole. We only discussed the murals behind you. I will say Christy did let us know at that meeting that she had heard from the tribe that they were interested in the totem pole being removed, but we did not enter into any conversations with them at that meeting about the totem pole. And then what we then learned about the murals kind of brings the same situation with the totem poles of what we can and cannot do with these pieces.
A former public works director's perspective, I'd recommend taking it down. Let's get it in the shop and see what condition it's in, because it's been out in the weather for quite some time. I haven't looked at it closely to know what kind of condition it is, and let Jeff's professionals take a good look to see, how it is. But we could get it down relative short order and then determine a destination after that.
Fine by me.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Do you need anything? Do you need concurrence from council? What?
Yeah, I think we.
So let's
definitely
move
should.
this forward to
Yeah.
discussion for council and get direction from council in entirety to go ahead and do that. Okay.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So this actually went through Arts Commission, it has to go through Arts Commission first, is that correct? And then to council?
We discussed the murals and the totem pole with the Arts Commission. At that particular time, the Arts Commission they had some questions as to pertaining to the totem pole. So I don't have essentially their approval or their recommendation for the totem pole. I do have a recommendation for the murals from the Arts Commission.
I don't view this as an art question at this stage. This is a political policy issue.
Well, there's an RCW that requires, I think, city-owned art to go through Arts Commission. So they were just following the process. So.
And when's the next Arts Commission meeting?
The next one would be January.
But we could take it down and do an assessment of its condition for the Arts Commission and document it appropriately for that presentation.
Okay, and I'm gonna, what was it? Peterson's Pet Projects used to be. Holloway's Pet Project. I'd love also that conversation with the Arts Commission to see if it doesn't go back in that spot, could we have a rotating artist display of something even for sale or whatever at that spot? Or just in general, what do they think we ought to do with that spot if it's a hole?
One of the questions that the Arts Commission did have pertaining to the totem pole was what would that area be replaced with other art, and would the tribe be interested in participating in what that next piece would be? That were some of their questions that they had.
So I think at this stage that the tribe comes and that the tribe has been having discussions about a storyboard or something, but they haven't come to conclusion. I think whatever we do needs to accept that if they were to come to conclusion with something or other, that's an appropriate spot for it. But I don't think we should hold up for that. They have philosophical issues that storyboards are family, not tribal. So they don't know what to do tribal wise and having those discussions internally.
Councilperson Pearson has her hand
All
up
right.
again, but I'm just a little nervous about designating that spot for a piece of art that we haven't seen yet, because it could be detrimental to those trees, depending on size. So I think we need to do that analysis at that time.
And yeah, and no matter which way we go, no matter which way we go, it ought to go through the Arts Commission to
Yeah.
put something there. Whether that be a tribal something, whether that be a rotating artist something, it ought to go through Arts Commission or we'll end up with a pink elephant. Yes. Carrie, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I was just going to say that it might be worthwhile to have the Arts Commission take a look into what it would require to have that as a rotating or a rotating art location there. And then, once we have an idea of what that process and situation would look like, to invite the tribe to come in and see if that is something that they're interested in, but at least kind of get the lay of the land in the Arts Committee, and then make sure that we do invite the tribe to come and weigh in if that's something that they would be interested in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But maybe do the background work first to see like what that type of a project would entail and have that being done at the Arts Commission so that we know better how that would even work before inviting the tribe to come in and see if that's something they're interested in.
Agreed. It was easy for me to say. It may be difficult for the Arts Commission to actually execute a rotating arts display there. Although we do City Hall pretty well. But that's different. All right, so let's have a discussion. Primarily objective, this first objective is let's go ahead and pull the pole in for reconditioning. Have discussion with Arts Commission of what to do with the pole, what to do with that spot, and have that come back at a later date. Okay. All right,
This is after council discussion on Monday, though.
yeah,
Yeah, I
after
think-
council
Right.
discussion on Monday, yes. No,
So
at no time should you guys take direction from one council member.
Or three.
Or three.
Yeah. So should the FNA then present a recommendation from committee to council to do what you just said? Or should we just leave it open as we're gonna have a discussion and then?
No, I think we ought to lead it to say, like to have discussion around one, let's take the pole in for reconditioning, bring it into Public Works and get it, you don't like reconditioned? I thought that was a
We
thing.
do assessment.
To do an assessment
Thank you.
for potential reconditioning. Uh, And then two, for the future placement of the pole as well as future use of that spot where the pole is existing to go back to Arts Commission for their recommendation to come back to council at a later date. And I think that ought to be the discussion at council next Monday. And if somebody could snippet out that little piece of audio and send it to me, I don't remember. No, I'm joking. Don't do that.
No, I was gonna ask, so for the first item, did you want to add in the reconditioning?
No,
Yeah. Okay.
I just say assessment.
pull it into Public Works for assessment.
Do you want to pull it? You want to present this to council first,
Yeah.
then potentially pull it down? Pull it down.
Want council's concurrence
Mhm.
on a proposal to
Right.
go ahead and pull the totem pole into Public Works for assessment. It's been out there a while. And then two, for final disposition of that pole to go to the Arts Commission
Okay.
and for their recommendation of what to do in that spot if it's
Okay.
not a totem pole.
Okay.
Kind of 3 layers.
Okay, I have two, but.
It has two with two, it kind of has two parts of.
Take
There
it,
you go. Yeah.
pull it for assessment. And then what to do with the pole after assessment and after whatever we do from the assessment. And what to do with that spot if the totem isn't going back. Okay. It's three, go for it. I'll go three. There's an and in there, I admit it, I'll go three.
Do you want it as 3 or do you want it as 2?
I think it sounds like 3.
That's three.
Put it as three, all right. With that, I think the next one was the murals.
Correct. So, we had all of the artwork in City Hall appraised this year. And of course, I don't have that in front of me, but these were also appraised. And City Attorney and I did meet with the Snoqualmie Valley Historical Museum. And so we have, based on that meeting and what we learned that day, we have 4 options. These murals remain. These murals are removed and surplused. These murals are removed, they're stored, and we redesign the wall. Or these murals are removed and then these murals are displayed elsewhere, not at the museum, because in order to have them go to the museum, there is a cost involved.
Go ahead.
What happens to things in, just in general, if you attempt to surplus them and there are no takers?
Go ahead, Jim.
So I believe we use propertyroom.com to do that process, and we would set a reserve amount at some amount, and if the reserve is not met, then it would be a decision at that point to relist it at a lower reserve. But until the process has gone with 0 reserve, it still has a value and it has to go through that process.
Once it goes to 0, then you can check it in the trash.
Correct.
Not saying we should, just saying that's the process. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Is there a combination that says?
These are your only combinations.
Well, no, is 1, remove, 2, disposition to be determined by the Arts Commission, either store, surplus, or display. And we do something with the wall once that picture is gone, because it's gonna make holes coming out, I think. Go ahead.
Could I say, get a recommendation from the Arts Commission rather than let them have the final decision?
Oh, yeah, agree.
And then also, I think Councilmember Christensen had her hand up.
All right, Councilman Christensen?
Thanks. That all sounds good so far, but do we know approximately what the valuation was for it?
I think it was over 100,000.
I feel like it was 72, 75 for those.
Okay, maybe for all the panels?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's helpful to know. And then are we concerned at all that it'll be damaged? Is it stored or does it need any special storage?
I'm sorry, you said if they're removed, is there special storage?
We have custom storage that was built for them.
Yeah, we have the
When City
containers.
Hall was built, we still.
Okay.
have- So we would be storing it in that, so they would not get damaged.
Okay.
There is a timing component to this if we want to do this. Really need to do something starting on December 8th so we can have the wall repaired in time for the January council meetings. Otherwise, we're stuck until there's a break because there's no time to get it fixed before the next meeting during the regular cycle.
So you're really looking, 1, for concurrence at a council for removal at the 8th?
Removal, and you want to do something with that wall, whether we store it, we put it somewhere else in City Hall or whatever, we can figure that out later, but.
So I
Go ahead.
believe WCIA has it valued, listed as $126,060
Okay.
on our insurance.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry, I had to look at it again. You have?
So, I don't consider myself to be an artist. There's always been one panel that seemed to have a different sort of a vibe to it. I was wondering, was that one just like sitting on the sun for a while, or is that just it was
No,
honestly painted that way?
We had a company called Art Tech come in and analyze them to see if there's been any damage to them, and they were pleasantly surprised. There's no damage and no fading. That is just.
That's how that one was done. Okay.
This is
Like I
how,
said, I'm not an artist, so there you go. That's art.
it's Mr. Burhan's style. It just,
Cool.
Finance was able to get an answer to the question I asked about renting our art out. that actually creates a leasehold tax situation with the Department of Revenue.
Hmm.
So that's really complicates things.
Okay.
Okay, so this one, council, first discussion, seeking concurrence to, well, it's gonna go to storage, remove to storage at this stage. And then to patch up the walls. I'd personally like some curtains, but never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would rather that we just leave it as a blank canvas rather than punch any more holes in the wall until we've had a discussion, perhaps with Arts Commission, get a recommendation from them. If we go back to, can you put up the mock-up that was in the PowerPoint?
That was me, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, for the probably 10th time tonight, I'm not an artist, but that looks really boring to me. It looks really bland. I love the fact that we have something that is more engaging here, that has some flavor and color to it. Not necessarily saying the content is what I love and want to retain, but I just personally don't like that. So I don't want to go ahead and come up with an alternative myself to suggest. I think that that's something that the Arts Commission should talk about, and come forward with a recommendation of maybe I'm just wrong and I'm not an artist, and maybe that does look great, and maybe that's the recommendation that comes from them. But if we just patch the wall, just left as a blank canvas to be decided later, maybe we come back and it's curtains, maybe it's something else.
Yeah, well, I think we ought to let the Arts Commission tell us what to do
Right.
with the blank canvas.
Right.
Although now looking at a chalkboard paint with some chalk up here would look fun.
But if we write things on the chalkboard, then we've created
Public
public
notice.
records and they have to stay there forever.
No, it'll be on the video. But anywho,
Notes are transitory.
Okay.
all right, so concurrence, we're seeking concurrence from the council to go ahead and remove the artwork into storage at this time, to patch up underneath, painted in whatever neutral color discretion of staff. And that final disposition to be recommended by the Arts Commission. And also this is for Arts Commission to do recommendation on what to do with this space long-term.
I would agree with
Sound
that.
like a plan?
I would agree with that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. All right,
Thank you.
let's proceed on with that for discussion on the 8th. More fun to be had. All right, and then we have future meeting discussions, and then we got review of draft. All right, so we're talking our council agenda for next Monday.
Yep, almost ready for you.
So we'll start at 6 PM and we'll have recognition and reception for Mayor Ross and Councilmember Benson. Make conclusion of terms. And then at 6:30, we'll do the State Auditor's Office Entrance Conference, 2020 financial statements and accounting audits. And that'll lead us to 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, we'll have call to order and roll call. We'll have pledge of allegiance, approval of the agenda, hearing presentation proclamations. We'll have oath of office for council members. Is Mayhew already in or?
Yeah, he did the oath. last
Okay,
week.
He'll do his ceremonial one in January.
all right, all right. As long as you guys got that worked out. All right, appointment to Arts Commission. Okay, so I'm concerned with the next one, reappointment of commission and advisory committees. Why is that one not holding till after the first year? In case the new administration has thoughts or whatever.
They all expire as of December 31st, so we would not be able to hold any meetings until that time, as long as that's okay, then. But everybody expires on December 31st. In the future, we may think about moving that to a February date.
Go ahead.
Is the administration suggesting any changes?
No, each of the, I guess the liaisons reached out to the people that terms that were expiring and they also considered, you know, like attendance and things like that. And so we're not recommending any changes. It is the people's terms that are expiring, not all 100% are expiring. Lose my
Right.
voice. Right.
But just those are
We're
expiring?
not making changes.
Piece, but it's been the practice if the mayor wants to make a change, often you let the term expire.
Right.
And you'll go get another appointee. We've removed the possibility of the incoming administration to let the term expire and go get a different appointee.
Mm.
Okay, so if there's any consternation, it means there'll have to be overt action to take a standing commissioner out
Right.
and go that's, I've done it once, but it's not fun etiquette.
Yeah.
I'd rather just put this off to the beginning of the year. And then that very first meeting in January, bring this back in once the new mayor has had a chance to go through all this. And this ought to be covered under transition discussions. Go ahead.
I think that I would tend to agree. And we just wouldn't hold the first commission meetings in January, but then we should be able to, if the mayor does have recommended appointments, well, I guess they do the appointing and we confirm it. But anyway, if they do appoint at our first council meeting, then they should be able to hold a commission meeting on the second, what would be the second meeting of the month.
Yeah.
Right.
So we do
We
this
just,
right at one
effectively
meeting.
Miss one meeting at the beginning of January.
Ironically, the Arts Commission's first meeting in January is prior to the first council meeting. So, and two of the commissioners are expiring. I'm just letting you know all the facts. I mean, we can do maybe a special meeting at another time in January that's not a regularly scheduled Arts Commission meeting. That's totally an option, but I just wanted you to be aware in light of the previous discussion items.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right, right.
I don't think they would come to a conclusion in that first meeting.
Yeah, in
They
one
could
meeting.
probably still meet with everybody in attendance.
Right.
Okay. And so are we okay with holding this off until 1st of January?
That may mean we'll have to look at like planning commission. I don't know. Be impacted. Are there?
There's two more. Okay.
You're losing two. Plus a vacancy, so it'd be three, so. Three. So you still have, you had four. So they'd all have to attend.
Mhm.
We're out of seven. Because two expire and there's one vacant. So. Right. So some of these meetings you may have problems making quorum.
For the first meeting of the
For the
month.
first meeting.
Right.
The world is not going to come to end missing one meeting. And I agree. It causes me other issues and I don't think it's ideal, but I'm having an etiquette issue that trying to resolve.
Right.
And it can shift yeah. And for some reason, if something can't shift it out, bring it to council. Because council made the mess. Okay? So unless objections, we'll take the reappointment of Commissioner Advisory Committees postponed till first meeting in January. And then we'll have presentations, recognition of motorized stair chair. I have read that star chair. I'm sorry, Christmas. Stair chair donation. And top 10 accomplishments 2025. Yep.
Can we just call it the top accomplishments? Because it's turned out to be 12.
Oh, I was gonna turn it to 9, but okay. Yeah,
So strike 10.
just make it 2025 accomplishments.
There you go.
All right, with that, we'll move to consent agenda, approve city council meeting minutes, approve claims report, and I think we did the two attorney things moved up under consent.
Correct.
And then we'll have ordinance on the electric motorcycle ordinance. This is for action this time?
I believe so.
Second reading.
Yeah.
Second reading action. Okay, and then we'll move into committee reports. Public safety resolution adopting new indigent defense standards. And a sister to that, indigent defense contract with Valley Defenders PLLC. Right. All right, and community development is clear at this stage. Parks and development, Parks and Public Works, as community center presentation and update. Finance administration, oh, I'm sorry.
Chair, just under Parks and Public Works, we added the DOC worker conversation discussion as
Okay,
well.
thank you.
Correct.
Yeah, let's add that one in there. All right, finance administration, resolution amending financial management policy. Discuss that. K&L Gates moves up above under consent. Mendona Law moves up under consent. We'll have probably a lengthy conversation on totem poles and council chamber murals. And then committee of the whole, mayor's reports, commission committee liaison reports, department reports for November, and then adjournment. Did I miss anything or any other items need to go on there?
We're adding an executive session at the end of the night for potential litigation and real estate purchase.
Okay. All right, and executive session. You had something else?
That was gonna be.
That was
today.
it? All right. Any other changes or alterations? All right, are we okay with moving this forward as council agenda for next week?
I believe so.
All right, here are no objections. That is the agenda. Are there further matters to come before the F&A committee tonight? Hearing none. Any objections to adjourning? Nope. Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.